Hello, Ben, Andy, and Matt. It is Monday, it's January 7th. We're over here at 301 Willow. I'm just going to start with the inside for now because this is going to be way too long if I do both together. Number one, the door is completely shut right now. You'll notice it's a brand new door, and you see the gaps at the bottom. All right. So when I was installing the door earlier, I was wondering why the things weren't lining up. So if you can see these screws, how they have them popped out, okay? Just remember that. When I shut the door, it closes one finger, no problem. But watch what happens when I was like, because what I thought was, oh, these screws are out when you tighten them. So when you tighten these, watch this, ready? The door doesn't even shut. I have to bang it, and it's still not even properly latched. So what's happening, instead of them fixing the door properly, what those screws were doing, when the door closes, it was putting pressure on here, which is kind of ripping it off the jamb. So as it rips it off the jamb this way, remember it goes down, that part then, so you can see how it used to hit over here, that never worked. So to make this door operate right, these screws have to come out so it messes up over here. Again, instead of just doing it right the first time, it was like they had the trim on, it's all painted. So whatever, we'll deal with that. Anyway, so I'll give you guys a walkthrough. I'll try not to take too long and go as quick as I can. But number one, they didn't leave it in broom swept condition. There's still like shit on the floor, whatever, razor blades. Not a big deal, it's just sweeping up. This is inside of all your vents because they don't have any of these covered. So now you gotta make sure that all those get clean, because the second you turn on the heat here, it's all gonna blow out. None of the windows are done here. I think I counted, I have a little notebook here. So you have 16 regular windows. I wasn't sure what you're going to try to do with this bay window, if that was on your scope of work or not. But if every other window is new, well, that's the one you see when you first walk in the house. And then you got two basement windows. Since we're in the living room, we'll start with the bathroom right here. Oh, and the light fixture. That's just an adjustment. You just got to get rid of some of those chains. But anyway, so the bathroom. The bathroom looks nice. All right, light fixture, vanity. Number one, I have no clue why there are switches down there. There are, well, it kind of sucks because the door has a toilet, but not much you're going to do there. Notice that there's no GFI, so you have no outlet here. All right? And if you notice, there's no switches. There's nothing on the outside. So you don't have any switches run. You don't have any outlets run, and even though the fixture looks like it's in, you're going to see it from behind. It's just sitting there. Nothing's really even connected to it. Same thing with this one. You have all the dirt down there. So aside from that, we'll move on from all the vent covers. You guys clearly know what's going on there. The first thing is just a stupid mistake with those fucking doorknobs. It's the same thing like on Fleetwood and Hazlitt. Why are these people doing these? What's going to happen? Somebody's too short. They got to reach up even higher, and to get any of these cabinets right here, I literally I'm bending over so damn far. This would have been so much easier. With that being said, there is a code for height-wise from the countertop to the bottom of a cabinet. The code is 18 inches. Hold on. You guys have like 16 and 5/8. So I'm not sure if a building inspector is going to bust your chops on that, but realistically the easiest thing to do would have been to get rid of the soffit. There's absolutely no purpose for it, especially since the furnace was installed downstairs. It would have been nicer to have cabinets go all the way up to the ceiling. So that's that. The other thing we have, well, one, there's no power to these outlets. Actually, that one has power, I believe. But they might be jumped across them, so it might not be a big deal. It does look like the electric was done like by a professional, because one, electricians usually wrap their wires like that. And if you can see that green nut right down there, that's a nut used for grounding wire. And most contractors don't use those because they don't really know. Another thing that's stupid here is when you have these corner cabinets, because you have the square part right here, it just looks stupid. That's why it would have been better to go with a higher cabinet, put a freeze board on there, and then go up to the ceiling. All right, that's that. Second of all, they didn't buy fillers when they ordered these cabinets. So you'll see they have one there. And what kind of sucks about that is you'll see you have cabinet, you have a big 3-inch space, and you have nothing here and nothing here. You know, if it's designed a little bit differently, you know, maybe they could have put the spacer over here, because it's not like it's, you know, it's not exactly lined up here anyway. But they could have done something different, or a little here, a little there, whatever you have to do. But bottom line is, this is a smooth cabinet. I don't know if you can see this, but you see like the vein in here? You can really see the, what you call it, the wood, the pine wood. They say they just took a piece of wood, they cut it, and then they just painted it. The other thing, this is the quarter cabinet. You can just see the gap in here, because they just didn't crimp these together, and then, you know, just drill them in from the side. Something else to notice here, when you're going to put your fridge in here, realize that your fridge goes up against this countertop, right? So it's going to basically, Jesus, blaring this. So it's basically going to be at the end of this bullnose tile right here. So as your fridge hits this countertop and it goes straight up, you're going to have a stupid 3-inch gap on the side over there, which is just poorly planned. To fix this, I mean, you could put a filler in here, or, you know, if they took some of this filler and they had some over here, there would have been a little filler there. Then you would have had a little filler here, a little filler there, and it would have been spaced out more appropriately. You can kind of see it here. So these parts right here are just, you know, paint lightness, poor paint. These are actually cracks already on the ceiling. Now that could also just be from the coldness in here, but you can see the waviness of your ceiling. It's very noticeable when you're here, so I'm not like nitpicking, but people are going to focus on the kitchen. You'll see the walls right here. So again, when you're staring in your kitchen and you're right here, you're going to notice that. All right, so moving on, they have the wire here for the exhaust hood. I'm not sure if that's a direct line. If you guys want to put a microwave here, that's fine. We got to find out if that's a direct line. If not, we just got to run one. It's not a big deal because the basement is exposed. This is a stupid part. Well, number one is that's an old gas valve. These things are notorious for leaking. But let's see if I get a little different angle. Tell me how you're going to possibly, there you go. Tell me how you're going to really shut that gas line, that gas valve off. I can't even get my fingers in here to turn that thing on and off. I won't be able to have access to this, and they basically just have a cap here. So once you take this cap off, which is not even tightened, but all right, so you add your gas line to your stove. How are you going to shut it off? So essentially what you're going to have to do is you got to put a nipple here, you got to put another shut-off valve, and then go over. But they really should have replaced that, because like I said, if those things are notorious, just so everybody's clear, since those things are notorious for leaking, it should have just been taken care of. Another stupid thing is that if you're opening your door, it makes sense because you're standing your stove here. You open the door that way. Well, this one opens the opposite way. Not very well thought out about that. We could take that cabinet door and flip it, especially since you put the handle on the middle and not the bottom or the top. Because if you put it on the top, then it would be under here, so it's actually fixable. The other thing too, I'm going to assume that your dishwasher is going to go here. Oh, it's labeled for dishwasher, so there's your whip. But that means that you're going to have to get filler pieces to put in here, because your cabinet or your dishwasher is only going to come to about right here. So you have to do fillers over in there. I tested all the outlets. All the outlets are wired properly. These are the ceiling fans. They all work. But you can see the blotchiness and the spottiness on the ceiling. I'm not sure why they did that. So they kind of did that all over. All right, moving on, the fireplace. So it has the motors in here. I don't know anything about this fireplace. You can see the back of it is completely rotted out. You don't need just a new cover here. You need a whole entire new insert. I'll try to get you a price. I did one of these like 2 or 3 years ago. It just really sucked. Have to pay to do that. But the reason why you know they probably have an issue is because you have all the soot and the smoke that's on this brick. Now with that being said, don't know what you want to do with the stone because you have that. It's not like that's just going to wash right off and look nice and clean. Additionally, even if it did, now you have to be concerned with you don't get this laminate wet because that's going to be another concern and a problem if you're trying to clean that. That really should have been done first. You have the hearth on the fireplace, which is just broken. So these pieces will have to get replaced. You don't have to do one solid piece like those are individual pieces. We could do something similar. What else we got here? You know, you can even see the, I don't know if you guys, right around here, you guys can see that paint difference. I'm trying with the light here. We have a gap on the outlet over there. Now this light's not going to do any justice, but it looks like they did a lot of paint touch-ups because you really tell where they are. That door, I just put a padlock on the outside. I did point this out the other day that you have paneling here and you have this dental crown molding, but they don't have it on this wall here. It's not a deal breaker, so maybe just let it go. So I don't know why, if they put this laminate down here, why don't they just put that on top over here? It would have made sense to do that. I didn't see this outlet here. All right, well this outlet doesn't have any power, but it's probably dead. You know, they could have done a little better job with, you know, prepping the walls. But anyway, so if they have some laminate left over, which does not look like it, I'm sure they bought it at Home Depot, we can put some in there. We just don't have the light fixture here. I don't know anything about what's above that garage or that attic door. This is the stair that was missing that they put in the other day. It's just temporary. It's a 1/2-inch piece of plywood on the facade, and it's only what was that? Probably 5/8 on the tread. So that needs to be rebuilt anyway. And then you know we should redo this floor to match the other one so it's more finished. So the sheetrock is just exposed to the rim joist here. So that'd be easy just to get some sheetrock on here, you know, patch it up, fix it up. But before we actually go to the basement, let's just do the garage. So I changed this lock as well. So we have this one and the front door is new. It's the right kind of door to put for the garage. It looks good. Everything is painted here. Outlets in the garage. All right, so we have no power on the garage outlets. These switches here, they don't do anything inside the garage. I don't know if it's because there's an outlet outside. I don't know if it has to do with this one here, but this does nothing as well. And this thing has no power. All right, so this is the drain for the sink. It needs to have an auto vent up here. It's not a big deal, but what's going to happen is you just got to have an area exposed here with like a grill cover so it can kind of breathe air into there. This is the light fixture, the old work box that clearly you can see there's no electric tied to it. That's why we don't have you know, any power in that bathroom because we just didn't run it. I'm not sure what they're doing here. If they were just trying to, you know, have no power on the other side. When we take this out, I don't know if we'll get power because this will just trip the breakers. But the breakers downstairs, none of them were actually tripped. It looks like they just built a little platform here. This is just a 1/2-inch flake board. You know, it should be minimally painted so it can match everything else. Or put something so it doesn't get damaged every time you go in and out. The light just went out. So this was actually, I mean, this was built okay because you have the pressure treated wood there. I mean, it looked like it would pass an inspection. My only concern is I don't know the code on how close can a wall be to the garage door. That would be my only concern here. Other than that, I mean, it's actually, it seems to be built okay. Actually, well, I don't know about this because these floor joists here, these are only 2x6s. I mean, they do have Tico brackets on there. Well, actually, they have it only on that one because they do have a ledger. But the ledger is not secured properly. If you had a ledger that's secured properly and these beams were resting on it, you'd have to have carriage bolts or lag bolts on there, which they don't. Let me just look real quick. That is the toilet line that the guy was working on. My concern is going to be when you have a vertical elbow like that, that's okay. That's called a 90. It's a sharp turn. When you have the one a 90 degree on a horizontal turn, which this is, you need what's called a sweep. That means it's a wider turn. It's like putting two 45-degree angles or a specialty fitting down there. So I don't think that fitting would be proper. The windows 1, 2, 3, and 4 are not changed. I don't know if we have power up in that outlet. This light fixture is not changed and or no light bulbs. They just have a GFI up there with some wires. I'm not sure what it does. We have to have that taken a look into. When we go outside, we'll take a look, but that gray pad right there is what comes with the air conditioner. So the air conditioner should be sitting on one of those. I'm not sure why it's in here. Maybe they have already had one outside. But this light fixture is also not changed. All right, so going down to the basement, we have a railing. We don't have any spindles. It would be a shame, quite honestly, not to finish this basement. The fact that you have the French drain, and this is 1,200 square feet down here. I measured it already. So it's 847 on this side, and it's 372 on that side. Where to start down here, you have to go through all the electric. You know, you have wires cut hanging out here. You have wires hanging out here. You have a wire hanging here, wires hanging here. I mean, these are all over the place. It's like every 2 feet that I go, more wires. These wires are okay. These ones are stuff to be tapped into the panel. And clearly you don't have all your breakers in here. You have a 200 amp panel, and we only have 2, 4, 5. You only have 10 breakers. Fortunately, they gave you the right size panel, which they gave you all the extra breaker places. So you have plenty of space, but your AC is not connected here either. Not a big deal. Smoke alarm, but you'll notice that those wires are all cut. This is the pipe that the guy put in today. I don't know if you can kind of see it, but you see how that's a wider elbow? That's a sweep. So I don't know why he didn't put a sweep here. This elbow right here, that's kind of hard to tell upside down. Yeah, that should be fine actually. But you'll see how it's up, it's kind of up close to the joist and then it drops down a lot right here. That's pretty excessive for a plumber to do. I mean, there could have been a different way to go about it, but you know, whatever, too late. This side over here, this is our gas line. All right, the meter is outside. It just stops here and it's opened. It stops here and it's opened. So I'm assuming that they're gonna run this over for the furnace, which the furnace is just not tapped in. And the electric hot water here, I'm not sure why they put this in here, but sorry about that. But you'll notice they're just using this little gate valve here just for a supply of water. So we know we're not 100% done, but this has to all be strapped up more secure. You got to tie the 3/4 inch line in here to get hot water to the kitchen and the bathrooms. Right now they're just kind of running cold water out. I mean, I really hate seeing like all the shark bite fittings here. It's okay to have the crimps, but you're gonna have to pressure test the stuff to make sure that it's okay. You gotta put the drip leg in here. Coming over here, you know, one of the things that, let me get my light here actually. It's good when you see like this paste on here. It really seals up a lot of stuff. But you gotta be kind of meticulous about it, because right here you have a big hole. So that's number one. But it's kind of odd because even like over here, you'll see the gaps. So all this stuff would have to be, you know, readjusted, retaped up. There's a lot of spacing gaps like that all the way around. You know, you should really seal some of these. This one up here is just starting to fall. And the tape is, you know, like this tape is just not tight. It's an easy fix, no big deal. But, you know, every little thing quickly adds up. On this side over here, I'm concerned about the bathroom on the first floor. So this is the drain line for the bathroom, for the sink, because it ties up over here. And you'll see it goes up to where the sink is, but why is this end of this pipe exposed? I have no clue. But additionally, I mean, if we have the toilet line here and we have the main stack, why is this sink not tapped into here? Whereas it goes into the ejector pit, it comes back up and they pump it into the sewer line this way. That makes really no sense at all. Well, why you would want to do that. You'll see we have, again, more wires exposed. When you have a trap and it goes, you know, goes up and over like this is too close. I can't remember what the code is, but it's, bottom line,